You know that feeling of stumbling across something that you used to love? Maybe it's an old TV show or a movie that you used to watch, or maybe it's music that you used to love listening to. I just spent most of the morning listening to bands and albums that I loved when I was in my teens, in my 20s. This was the era when I was in a band. Actually, I don't even know if I've ever told this story, but when I was 14 or 15, I was playing guitar and it was everything to me. And I wanted to be in a band so badly. It was the only thing that mattered to me. And one of my friends was a drummer in a band. And one day he came to me and he said, "We're looking for a singer. I don't know if you know anyone, but we're ready to play shows. We're ready to do contests. We're ready to take this seriously." And I felt like this is like a sign. The only problem is that I'm not a singer. I'm a guitar player. But what if I just come over and hear you guys and maybe I can audition and we can just see where it goes? I was pretty much desperate. I was willing to do anything. I went over there and I was blown away. The guitar players were playing each other's guitars behind their back with their teeth, with their tongue, shredding. And I was just blown away. I'd never met anyone who could play like these guys. So I knew that I had to be a part of this band. Even if I couldn't play guitar, I would do anything. And so I joined. And we started playing and we started recording and we started writing songs and we started doing contests, which most of them we won. And I was so alive. I was so in my zone, even though I did not expect to be a front man. I never expected to be a singer. I thought I was going to be a guitar player. And I still played guitar and I still wrote songs for the guitar. And funnily enough, after about a year of being in this band, our taste in music started to change and we started to go more in the direction of what we actually wanted to create based on how we were evolving. And it turns out that after a few conversations, one of the guitar players was also going in a different direction. Lo and behold, I took on the role of playing guitar. So my initial vision, my initial inspiration, my initial dream finally came true. Even though it didn't start that way and I didn't even expect it to go that way, I just followed my heart. I followed my inspiration. I acted on that inspiration and it led me down a path that I wouldn't have planned for or expected, but ultimately it ended up where I wanted to be. And this was also the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey too, because the whole essence of this time was really like anything is possible. You know, I get to create my life. I get to live on my terms. I get to choose what this experience is like, and there's nothing off limits. And I realized like I can put on my own shows. So I did. I created a promotional company, a production company, and we rented out venues and we got all the local bands together, all the people that I wanted to be friends with, and we put on shows. And we sold tickets and we sold merchandise and we sold food and we sold drinks and it was this whole thing and my whole family was involved and all my friends were involved and it was just like such an adventure. You know, it was so fun. And at the time, like I felt like I have nothing to lose. It wasn't even really a thought. It was just like, why not? Why not? Right? And this was the theme underneath it. And this is so tied in with this theme of being wildly rich that I keep talking about. And if you're interested in this kind of frequency, if you're following these videos and you're wanting to learn more about my 4-week experience of wildly rich, this is going to be a private Telegram group. And it's going to include 3 live sessions where I'm going to be diving into a lot of these ideas and these frequencies and remembering who you are and living true to your calling and activating that inner child and all of this good stuff. So if you're interested in that, comment rich down below and I'll send you a link where you can learn more about this. But first of all, back to my story, because we were traveling and playing shows, we were recording albums, we were just, living the dream. I just remember times in the recording studio where we're horsing around and playing around and making jokes and just spending all night, just awake all night doing what we love, like being a child, being a child again. And the thing is, I realize more and more that we have access to this feeling all the time, but we're just not choosing for it, right? And it is just that simple. It is a choice. You can choose right now to remember. And it's all through these beautiful art forms and different things that we can experience that we can tap back into that more directly, like music, from our youth, movies or TV shows or art forms or even just activities that we can do, going to the beach, going for a run, like all of these things tap us back into that most essential eternal youth, that fountain of youth within us, which is this stream of abundance, inspiration, creativity. It's our life force. And in that, there is a timelessness. There is an infinite possibility. And that just constantly wants to emerge through us, wants to be created through us, wants to be given birth to. And, we never really lose the capacity to do this, to allow for this, to be a conduit for this. We just kind of learn to suppress it, even though it's always still there. And it's like a muscle. It's like when you don't work the muscle, then the muscle just doesn't have any reason to work. But there's a muscle memory to it. And the moment you choose to start using it again, the more it wants to come through you. It's like the floodgates open and everything comes back to the forefront of your awareness. You're like, oh yeah, it's always been right there within me. And it's just fear, doubt, insecurity, that sense of imposter, that sort of adultness, the seriousness that comes in, and I have bills to pay and like people to take care of and responsibilities, and it's just not practical. And I get it. But the thing is though, when you look back at the end of your life, what's really going to matter to you? That's the essence of this whole feeling of wildly rich. It's not even about an outcome. It's not even about money. It's not even about material things. It's about the feeling of being wildly rich, about being vitally, vividly alive, vibrantly alive. Right? That feeling is always still there. We just kind of buried it. And it's a damn shame because it's our lifeline. It's our life force. It's our direct connection to our soul. Right? When I feel my soul, I feel this childlike quality of creativity, of inspiration, of expression, unapologetic, unadulterated, unbridled, unlimited expression. And when I feel that and I allow that, there's no better feeling. There's nothing more fulfilling. And there's nothing more connecting with myself, connecting me with others, connecting me with a sense of kind of purpose and belonging in this world. And that's the main intention behind this wildly rich experience that I'm putting on this month, starting August 24th, of which the early bird is ending on August 11th. So if you're interested in learning more about this, comment rich down below and I'll send you more information. But it's going to be a private Telegram group where I'm going to be sharing daily voice notes and posts and stories and videos directly for this group around this theme, this frequency of being wildly rich, living a wildly rich life, tapping back into that inner child, the playfulness, the adventurousness, the spontaneity, that inner infinite resource of abundance and freedom and creative expression. This, as far as I'm concerned, is what life is all about. And it gives rise to everything that we want in life, in terms of financial freedom, in terms of our relationships, in terms of our sense of purpose and belonging. Everything emerges out of that inner spark. And so there's also going to be 3 live sessions where I'm going to be talking about a lot of ideas, taking it more in depth, a lot of the things I talk about here on YouTube, and having tons of time for connection and questions and answers and sharing and processes and basically everything that you want to explore. And so if you're interested in learning more about this, then comment rich down below and I'll send you more information about this, because this is something that's so alive for me right now. And I feel like there's nothing more important in our lives than being in touch with that inner spark of creativity, that inner abundance, and living a wildly rich life based on what that means for you. Like when you look back, when you're on your deathbed, and you look back on all the moments, what are you going to be most proud of? What are you going to be most nostalgic over? What are you going to be most remembering? Is it going to be the bills you were paying, the responsibilities you were living up to, or is it times when you were so lost in the moment, so swept up in your creativity, so present with those around you, right? Acting courageously, spontaneously, creatively, just following the thread of your inspiration, not needing to know where it's going, not needing it to work out in a certain way, but just in love with the process, in love with yourself, in love with the unfolding. No expectations, no insistence, just pure life. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I feel like that's more than anything else, that sense of possibility, that essential love of being, of becoming, of creating. That is what we all long for. That's the most essential quality of what we are. And to come back in contact with that, to re-embrace that, is to be fully alive and to be eternally youthful. It's the timeless quality of our soul that just wants to emerge into the world. And so that's what I feel most right now, is this longing, this permission slip, this invitation to be like a child again. So if you're interested in exploring this and being in a space where this energy is prominent and prevalent, and who knows where it's going to go, who knows what's going to emerge, who knows what's going to awaken out of you and wants to be birthed into your life. But I think you'll find out. So if you're interested in exploring this and potentially joining this, comment Rich down below and I'll send you more information about it.